Advisory and Compliance Division at PNA Grant Thornton. Welcome to the show, ma'am.
Thank you for
Thanks for
having me
joining
here.
us.
Yes, it's a pleasure to be here.
From goodbye to hello, the exchange welcomed its newest member, niche property developer Kepwell, which listed amid market volatility and during the ghost month of August. While the issue is relatively small, raising just 384 million pesos, analysts say the stock has potential, especially as it holds a PESA-accredited property in Cebu as its crown jewel. Not to mention, lower interest rates and reserve requirement ratio cuts are expected to benefit the property sector. Now, this stock has risen almost 50% since the IPO, so people are really, I guess, raking in their earnings from it. What do you think of this company?
Well, actually, if you look at the listings at the property market, we're seeing a lot of potentials, and especially now we see that the spaces are not really that available. So you have a lot of businesses coming in, you have a lot of businesses expanding, you have the economy expanding as well. So the property sector is really getting a huge chunk of this development in
But
our
you think
economy.
the property sector has been a darling, especially with this POGO thing coming in.
Yeah.
But you see some headwinds coming in as well. What's your outlook in the long term for these sectors?
Actually, initially we're saying that you see a lot of the POGOs, and online you're seeing advertisements saying that I need 1,000 units for my client in the POGO. So you realize that they do have a lot of impact on the property sector, but the government is saying that the fundamentals are there, our economy is growing. By 2030, 2050, we're expecting to be one of the first world countries. So long term, we see that the Philippines is probably really going to be a good place for investment. So as long as you have investment coming in, you have businesses being put up, then you have the property sector, which is really looking good, as a business.
Let's talk about the listing process. People are saying this is the first for the year. What are the things that the private sector believes should happen so that the process itself or the attractiveness of listing in the exchange is better, so that more people really, use the market to raise money?
Less friction to list, right? Yeah.
Correct. We have the tax reform, which is the government is pushing right now. And one of the very positive proposal in the tax reform is the removal of the IPO tax. Here in the Philippines, among the Asian countries, the listing here is one of the most expensive because we have an IPO tax of 1%, 2%, 4% of what is being listed, and that's really huge.
Total amount. These are billions of pesos.
You're having maximum capitalization because of that.
Yeah. So for the longest time, everybody's pushing for the removal of this IPO tax, and then we see this tax reform, and already the government is saying that yes, we will remove that. So we're really waiting for the passage of the package 4 because it will lessen the friction costs in listing. Another good positive development in the package 4 of the tax reform is that it proposes to decrease the stock transaction tax. So investing in the stock market would have less friction costs. You don't have to pay DST, documentary stamp tax, which is usually what you pay when you're selling shares of stocks which are not listed. So without DST and then the lowering of the stock transaction tax, this is something that the investing public should be really watch out for.
Well, having said that, you still have a very thin pipeline, and you think about it when we talk about entrepreneurs. What do you think can the PSC do to encourage more listings on the end and then this medium
The SME board.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We're working with PSC. We're doing a road show some parts of the Philippines just to inform these small corporations how to prepare themselves for listing. Because sometimes
Not easy.
Yes, and I think it's not easy, but the hardest part really is not knowing how to do it, not how to prepare your company. I think the shortest would be 3 years. You have to prepare your financials, your controls, your processes, even the way you report for tax. So all of these things, you should plan for it. And with the smaller companies, no MSMEs, sometimes they fear that they can't do it, and knowing what to do would help them most in preparing for this.
I guess it's a balance with the capacity building and also making the rules a lot easier for SMEs to list.
Yes.
Right, well, going macro now, the finance team is working double time to pass all the remaining tax reform packages within the year. And to refresh your memory, Package 2 is the controversial Trabajo Bill. Package 3 covers property valuations, while Package 4 includes capital income and financial taxes. We put the spotlight on our Package 4, which proposes to slash stock transactions and taxes and remove the IPO taxes, among others.
We were talking about earlier, and you think, also talk about whether you think that this package 4 will really sail through easily.
When you invest here in the Philippines, you're looking at so many taxes, so many different rates. You see 5 to 10% on capital gains tax, 20% on interest, 10% on dividends. So what Package 4 wants to do is to simplify this and make it one rate, 15%. No? So you don't have to think of, should I invest in this instrument? If you're just thinking about taxes, it would be neutral.
So it's leveling the playing field.
The tax administration is always one of the big deterrents also.
Yes. So if you're an investor and you have to figure in all these taxes, it may be very difficult for you as well. You really need someone who knows taxes. No? But if you have a simpler taxation system, one rate, then it's easier for someone who's investing.
The rate you said is 15%?
Yes, so it's somewhere in between, no?
Looking at all the tax considerations, how do you think should people manage their investment taxes? How do you think they should manage it better?
If you're investing not in the stock exchange, you'll be investing in collective investment schemes or bank products, then it will be neutral because it will be the same. You'll be looking at the same 15% rate. Also, before there's a difference if you invest in dollars or foreign exchange. FCDUs would have lower tax rates, and everybody was saying, it's the rich people now who invest in dollars, so why are they taxed lower? So now they're also 15.
Yeah.
So it's easier, no? It would be easier. So you just have to concentrate on looking at the returns and
Relative returns, yeah.
So would you say this is more friendly for the bigger investors or the smaller retail investors? Overall, which sector would benefit more from Package 4?
If you compare the type of people who would invest in, let's say, UITFs, no? Like me, smaller investors, and then people who will invest with brokers and investing in the stock exchange, maybe the friction cost would be lesser for those people who would be investing in the stock exchange. But that's not bad because we really want our people to know how to invest in the stock market. You know, when I work in Grand Thornton, Vietnam, and I was surprised that every time the younger staff would have their payday, they would always talk about how much are you investing in the stock exchange, and you already see the broker outside of the office discussing with them.
So there's a larger pool of retail investors growing.
And they're very savvy, even with young people fresh out of college, with their first job, they already are investing in the stock exchange. But here, you only see a very small sector.
Less than 1% of the Filipino population is invested in the stock market.
Yeah, so
Even beyond looking at the tax considerations for different investment instruments, you have got to compare that with taxes that people pay on their income, on their salary, which is 30% or higher, right?
Yeah.
Or lower 20% now because of Package 1. But you gotta compare that because if you over time, as you grow older, depend only on salary, you're paying much more in taxes compared when if you get your income from
and
the
from your
stock
passive
market.
income as well,
Yes. Up next, our Business Digest segment goes global. Find out which Philippine conglomerate was recently included in the FTSE for Good Index, joining other global companies recognized for their sustainability push. On the Money will be right back.